Hello everybody and welcome back to Operation Logistics, where we are doing our most complicated intersection yet, actually. It looks like a simple one, but looks can be deceiving. So, first things first, we need to be determining on a case-by-case basis, depending on which direction the straight line is going, which direction the junction is. Now, there are a couple of interesting things that we can do here. We can, let me just apply all of this. I was messing around with this in between episodes. So in the Y value here, we can then very easily negate that, like so. And we can also negate that to go up there. Or we can unnegate that to be up there. So that's probably going to be what we're going to end up doing, is just changing the scale of these. Inside of the road junction, we're going to grab the child and change the scale based on which of these four is the correct one. So, with that in mind, inside of our straight up and down one, let's go ahead and say if we're going to need to say if this is bend position dot x is less than our position.x, and then have an else here. So if we are over on this side, if bend position.z is less than our position.z, then we know for a fact that we are right here, and nothing needs to be done. So nothing needs to be done. Excellent. Else, what do we need to do? Well, we need to negate the y over here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to create a negation vector 3. So vector 3 negator equals, and this is going to be a new vector 3, and I'm going to negate this only on the y, and I'm just going to call this negate y for right now. 1f, negative 1f, 1f. We're also going to need a vector 3 negate x equals new vector 3, and this is going to be negative 1f, 1f, 1f. And now the question is, how are we going to actually grab the how are we going to do the scale on the thing here? So I think what we're going to end up doing is we're going to say way up here when we're declaring a whole bunch of things. So if it equals buildings.road, blah, 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 when we're declaring up here, I'm going to say vector 3 scale multiplier equals vector 3.1. So we're going to go ahead and have that, and then all the way back down here, where we actually instantiate it, way down here, we're going to then say something along the lines of go dot, let's see, transform dot, how do we access the child? Get child? Can we just access it as if it's an array? I think we can. Transform 0? No, we can't. Okay, dot get child. Child 0. We know for a fact it's going to have a child. So we'll grab the child, dot transform, dot local scale. And then we're going to say that equals, go, this whole thing again, go dot transform dot local scale times, and this is going to be scale multiplier. Now you can't multiply between vector 3s? Fine then. We'll do it the hard way. So vector 3 old scale equals go.transform.getChild 0 .transform.local scale. Okay, so we grab that, and then we're going to say that this equals a new vector 3 old scale dot x times scale multiplier dot x old scale dot y times scale multiplier dot y and old scale dot z times scale multiplier dot z. There. We'll do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, so with that being the case, nothing needs to be done here. And rather than having these negate variables here, we can just set the scale multiplier manually. So if benPosition.z is less than rPosition.z, then what do we need to do? We need to negate... Come on. We need to negate the x value on this local scale. I have no idea if this is local or global scale. Or not... Yeah, this is local scale. Yeah. It's local scale. So, let's go ahead and then say 0.01. So, if the benPosition.z is greater than rPosition.z, then scale multiplier equals new vector 3, and this needs to be negative 1f, 1f, 1f. Okay. There we go. There's our junctions almost started. So, if benPosition.x is greater than... Oh my, that word got a little exciting. If benPosition.x is greater than rPosition.x, then we need to check benPosition.z, so we're over on this side. If it's lower, then we need to be multiplying on the y-axis for negative 1, like so. So, we need to go ahead and grab this, and let's go ahead and set our scale multiplier, instead of negative 1 here, negative 1 here. However, if we are up here, then we need to do both. We need to negate it over the x and the y-axis, like so. So, x and y. Okay. So that should be it done for the straight up and down junctions. Let's just check that quick. Make sure that I didn't mess anything up. Let's turn on our subhexes. And let's find out. What do we got? No junctions? Okay. That's not a straight up and down junction, so that one's not fixed yet. Here's a straight up and down junction, and it worked. Do we have any other straight up and down junctions that we can verify? Okay, that actually is working correctly there. That's not a straight up and down junction. That's a two-way junction. None of those are straight. Oh, argument out of range. Hello. Line 484. What do we got here? Line 484. Wait, really? What? We checked that. Subhex Manager, line 484. Line 484. So, unconnected hexes 1 and 2, but up here, if unconnected hexes.count is not equal to 3, then we leave. And we don't do anything. Did it output that it's probably an edge tile? Did not. How is that possible? We already verify for a fact that these exist. It's not a null reference exception, it's an argument is out of range exception. But we know for a fact that it's not out of range, because we're checking for that. That's a little weird. Well, I guess we'll keep our eye on it. This is not necessarily the time when we have to be sorting that out. It should otherwise, theoretically, be working. Let's see, this road merged, so this would actually just be a straight tile. We haven't gotten to doing those yet. This is not straight up and down junction. Let's see here. Do we have a straight up and down junction? Oh, argument out of range exception. Line 484. Map hex 36 is outputting it. Why, though? In subhexes. Subhexes line 55. It's just subhex line 55. Line 55, subhexes, sub-subhexes dot generate buildings, building seed. Okay. But in the sub-subhex manager, line 484, this is throwing an error. Why, though? Let's see if we can replicate it again with Visual Studio attached to Unity. Okay. Let's see what we've got. I mean, it's much, much slower to start up, but that's to be expected. Okay. So we're looking for two things here. One, that error again, and two... Yep, there it is. Right there. Argument out of range. Line 484. Okay. I don't think this is actually giving us anything. No, it really isn't. That's fine, I guess. You can go ahead and stop that. So, argument out of range exception, line 484, coming from a random map hex. That's to be expected. So the question is, unconnected hexes we know is equal to 3. So how can we get an argument out of range error here? The only lists that we're accessing is unconnected hexes, and we're going 1 and 2 here. It's not outputting this, so how did it get here? That's the question that I have right now. We've got our list of unconnected hexes here. We've also got our list of connected neighbors. I'm going to do a debug.log on unconnected hexes.count right here. And let's try to reproduce this again with that on. I'm not sure how we get there, but clearly we get there somehow. Okay, that was fine. Here we go. Argument out of range. 2. Okay, subhexes I dot game object dot name plus unconnected hexes dot count. Okay, let's reproduce this once more. I want to know what hex is actually doing that. This should not be possible. 3333. Yep. More 3s. This is fine. Oh, look at that. That Y is facing the wrong direction. It might be because of this road merge. I don't know. We'll try to sort out some of those bugs later on. That's kind of exciting right there. So those are clearly meant to merge together, but we're not doing those yet. We are looking primarily right now at... I'm noticing there's that again. That this doesn't seem to be happening all of a sudden now. It's like the compiler realized, oh crap, I'm not supposed to do that. I don't know. Yeah, this is connecting here. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Uh-huh. Well, this junction is correct. Even if it doesn't really show up very well. The vertical junctions are not amazingly common. But here's one. And yeah, they appear to be working correctly. But now it appears to have forgotten that it was having that error. Oh, there it is. Map hex 14, 2. So, sub-sub hexes, map hex 14, output 2. Next road pieces, previous road pieces, 5 neighbors. Is that it? But even so, unconnected hexes.count is 2. If unconnected hexes.count is not equal to 3, and connected neighbors.count is not equal to 3. Oh. Hang on. Maybe or? Maybe this needs to be or. Connected neighbors.count rather than and. Because if connected neighbors.count was equal to 3, but unconnected hexes wasn't. So I think that's because of border meshes, or rather border hexes, potentially being not 3 unconnected neighbors. So that should, I think, fix that. Now, as far as the Ys being facing the wrong direction sometimes, like this one, let's take a quick look at what's going on there, because that really shouldn't be the case anymore. It is at a Y rotation of 0. So for the Y intersections, if connected neighbors j.transform.position.z is less than r position.z, it's 0, otherwise it's 1. So let's see here. This one is an intersection, correct? Or not an intersection, but a merge, correct? Map hex 55. Yes. So what roads are this? 0 and 2. Next road piece is 50. And then the other next road piece is 46. So yeah, it just connects here. This is not a connection here. So it should have come up with this being approximately equal. Maybe if I drop off the approximately equal slightly, like so. I don't know. Maybe it was just a floating point error, because if approximately equal rPosition.x and connected neighbors j.transform.position.x, if our position is higher than their position, or if their position is less than our position, then it's 0, which is here, which is what it is, and it should be here. Theoretically. So this should be 180 degrees. I think it's a floating point error. And as far as the problem with this down here, where was that? That was this right here. I think we can get rid of this debug.log here. There we go. And then we'll say this is probably an edge tile, because I think that one is fixed-ish. Because 3-way intersection without 3 neighbors, this is probably an edge tile. Yes, it is. Okay. And then these roads merged for a bit. Yeah, this seems fine. This seems completely fine. Maybe. Where are Y intersections at? Do we have any? Wow, this actually looks pretty awesome. If only this guy was correctly rotated. We'll get that done soon enough, though. This is not a Y intersection here. That was an edge tile right there. That's to be expected that there are issues there. This is a road merge. We will deal with those in a later episode. Okay, here's a Y correctly rotated. Here's a Y correctly rotated. Here's a Y, and here's a Y. Let's try a different tile. Okay, here's a Y correctly rotated. That's an E there. Here's a Y correctly rotated. I think we can say they're probably good-ish. Okay, so let's dive into working on our... If I can... No, don't make subhexes part of the hex manager. Undo that. There we go. Turn our road junction back on. So let's start working then on our rotation being... let's see here. Where are our rotations? Here we go. So if our rotation equals 0 or our rotation equals 180, let's set our rotation to 0. And let's make sure that our negations here are now gone. We don't want those to be the case. In fact, let's just go ahead and revert that whole thing. There we go. Okay, so in this case, we already know that we are in this orientation. So if our bend position is approximately equal to our x position, then we know that we're up or down. So if bend pose.x, and actually we can use approximately equal bend pose.x, our pose.x, and we'll just use the default fudge for right now. Actually, 0.0005 will probably be enough. We'll see. So if that's the case, then we need to determine if bend pose.z is less than our pose.z. We'll go ahead and paste that on in. So we know for a fact, in this case, that we are here or here. If we're here, nothing needs to be done. So if bend pose.z is less than our pose.z, nothing needs to be done. If bend pose.z is greater than our pose.z, then what needs to happen is we need to scale multiply the road junction over the x-axis? Nope, over the y-axis, actually. And x-axis. Okay, so they both need to be multiplied. And that's correct. Okay, so then else, if we are not approximately equal, then we know that we have to be in this tile or this tile. So let's check our z-axis again. I'm going to go ahead and paste this back in. So if bend pose.z is less than our pose.z, if we're down, we can guarantee that we're down here. Otherwise, we're up here. So for this one, we can then just say that's actually perfect for up here for our else. So no negation on the x-axis for our else, whereas we need... Come on. There we go. Now it's compiled. We need negation only on the x-axis for our if. So only on the x-axis here. Okay. So there's that rotation finished up. It can only be one of 4 locations, so we know that that's good. So for the next one, we can go ahead and toss in a rotation of, as soon as it compiles, toss in a rotation of 120 degrees. That'll be fine. It does bear noting, of course. Yeah. Okay, there's another step we need to take. So, what I was just thinking is, okay, we are here. We have negated this. But what if our rotation was 180 degrees? We would be here. The negation is different. So what we need to do is we need to say rot equals vector3.0 right here. We need to go ahead and define our rotation straight up. So if rot equals 60 degrees, we were working off of 60 degrees. So rot equals new vector3 0f 60f 0f. We have to guarantee that we're going that we are at the correct angle. These two angles are interchangeable, and the straight rotation can return either. So we need to just go ahead and say rot equals 0 here, and then down here, rot equals new vector 3, and this vector 3 we are assuming is going to be equal to, what, 120? I think it's 120. Yes, it is 120. So 0f, 120f, 0f. Okay, so we're going bottom to top, and we need to figure out which way is the bend. So for a road junction here, I'm going to go ahead and revert this guy. Come on, there we go. Excellent. So we then need to determine, once again, basically this same exact thing right here. So I'm going to just copy and paste all of this in. So we know we're at 120 degrees. If we are up at the top, then what do we need to scale our road junction by? Negative on the x-axis? Yes, indeed. Negative on the x-axis. So we need to do negative x, positive everything else. So negative x, positive everything else. Otherwise, if we're down here, we need to do negative x and I believe negative y as well. Okay, no, positive x, 0.01. Positive x, negative y is what we need down here. So positive x, negative y. Okay, otherwise, we need to be, if we are not here, then we know we're here or here. If our z position is less than, which is the first one we're doing here, we know we're here. So for that, we need negative x and negative y. Okay. So we need negative x, negative y. And then if we are here, then nothing needs to be done. Okay. I think we're done with our junctions. Let's find out. We're going a little bit over on this episode, but I just want to make sure that we're completely done with that before we start diving into, you know, random bug fixes and things like that. Getting our edge tiles and our merges completed. That would be another big thing. Okay, so. Ooh, that looks great. As does that. Yep. Mm-hmm. We've got an edge tile up here. Huh, look at that. That's kind of exciting. Okay, we've got an issue here. MapHex 26. Is that the one that I think it is? No, that is not. What is going on with this guy? This is an intersection. Oh, okay. Because everything appears to be... Oh. We need to be here. Not connecting here. I was looking at it a bit wrong. We need to be connecting right down here. So what's going wrong here? Well, we know we're going this direction from bottom to top. So let's go down here and say we're going bottom to top. So which way is the bend? So bend position should be returning down here, theoretically. And let's see here. The next road pieces are 54 and 55 and 9 and 9. That's kind of exciting. This is 9 here. And then this one is 55. This one is 54. So this absolutely should be the one it's looking at for the bend position. That should be correct. So if down... -1, 1, 1. So let's take a quick look at what exactly is going on in this. -1, 1, 1. Okay, so that's actually right. Uh-huh. So what should it be? Should be like that. Is our rotation wrong? 120 degrees. 120 degrees. Okay. So this should be, instead of -1, 1, this should be, these need to be flipped, I think. So 1, -1, and then for going straight up, it needs to be -1 and 1, correct? Yeah, so these just need to be flipped. So like that, and like that. I think I just made a mistake there. Okay, so y needs to be negated in this case. Yes. Okay, let's regenerate this, make sure it's working. Let's see. Okay, that looks gorgeous. We've got a merged road here. And then we've got a edge tile here. Otherwise, it looks fine. Same thing here. Actually, this all looks good. That all looks good. We've got 2 edge tiles there and there. That's fine. Edge tiles. Merged roads. Merged road and edge tile. Okay, this all looks good so far. If we run into any additional issues, we will fix them. But from what I can tell, everything appears good. Which is great. It's been a while. We've been working on these roads for a very long time. But it appears to all be good. We've still got that bug. So I think the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to do the merged roads, but that will have to happen next episode, although I might do some tweaking on the intersection meshes. Yeah, that'll probably happen next episode. I'm going to put a cut in here, and next episode, let's just tweak those intersection meshes a little bit. See you all then.